watching the debate yesterday, you have one that lies and you had one that could barely even bring a whole coherent sentence together. And I think that we're in a really bad place when it comes to our presidential options.
I thought Biden is the better choice, but he seemed very, very old. He seemed a lot older than he is, and I think that's going to be kind of tough for people to get over.
You should go out and vote. You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now.
Are you going to pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in fact, let people know you're a senator. I'm not going to answer the question.
Why would you answer that
because
question?
the question is,
radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
Who's on your list?
Gentlemen, I think
this is so unprecedented.
Pack the court.
We have
not going to give a list.
We have ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it? Keep yapping, man.
The people on.
It's getting tensions. Good to have you back. So today we'll be delving into the recent presidential debate that happened between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. It was a night full of drama, surprises, and a lot of discussions. But I'll be breaking it all down, and we'll get to know what actually happened and what it actually means for the next upcoming elections. If you are seeing me for the first time, I go by the name Pooty Boy J. If you have not yet joined the Pooty Boys and the Pooty Girls, what are you waiting for, bruh? Come on, hit the subscribe button and be a part of the pack. All right, let's get into the video. Ready? Let's go.
Republican did that, they go to jail.
Thank you, President Trump.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now.
But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. He caused the inflation, and it's killing black families and Hispanic families.
There was no inflation when I became president. You know why? The economy was flat on its back. 15% unemployment. He decimated the economy.
Joe Biden's performance in the debate has widely been described as a disaster. Now, there are multiple instances where he stumbled, gave incoherent responses, and appeared to lack energy.
Making sure that we continue to strengthen our healthcare system, making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the COVID. With dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Now, these moments have raised serious concerns about his age and his competence. Let's have a look at what Trump did. So, Trump just capitalized on Biden's missteps, making the debate a tough battle for the former vice president. His aggressive tactics and combative skills were on full display. He actually didn't miss an opportunity to highlight Biden's mistakes.
Who wants the war to continue is Hamas. We are the biggest producer of support for Israel of anyone in the world.
He said the only one who wants to keep going is Hamas. Actually, Israel is the one, and you should let him go and let him finish the job.
The only existential threat to humanity is climate change, and he didn't do a damn thing about it. He wants to undo all that I've done. How strongly you feel. Vote now.
Are you going to pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in fact, let people know
He doesn't want
you're a
to answer the
senator.
question.
I'm not going to answer the question.
Why would you answer that
because
question?
the question is
The Supreme Court justice, radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe? Who's on your list?
Gentlemen, I think
this
we've
is
ended
so
this.
He's going to pack the court.
We have
not going to give a list.
We have ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it?
Biden, on the other hand, struggled to articulate a compelling case for his presidency, leading to doubt among viewers.
We had the safest border in history. Now we have the worst border in history. There's never been anything like it.
There's no data to support what he said. Once again, he's exaggerating, he's lying. And I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
Despite some strong moments, his overall performance left many questioning his candidacy.
He never fired people. I've never seen him fire anybody. I did fire a lot. I fired Comey because he was no good. I fired a lot of the top people at the FBI, drained the swamp. They were no good. This guy hasn't fired anybody. He's the worst president in the history of our country. He's destroyed our country.
Presidential historians, they've had meetings and they voted who's the worst president in American history. One through best to worst. They said he was the worst in all of American history.
Trump's refusal to commit to accepting the election result and his erratic behavior overshadowed many policy discussions, leaving viewers with a sense of uncertainty and instability.
Will you pledge tonight that once all legal challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the results of this election, regardless of who wins, and you will say right now that political violence in any form is unacceptable?
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to, and I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol, and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She said that loud and clear. But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you something. I wish he was a great president, because I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be at one of my many places enjoying myself. I wouldn't be under indictment because I wouldn't have been his political opponent, because he indicted me because I was his opponent. I wish he was a great president. I would rather have that. I wouldn't be here. I don't mind being here. But the only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again. We're going to make America great again.
Democrats are now torn. Some see Biden's performance as a one-time stumble, while others worry it could be a sign of deeper issues.
Longer the conversation, I guess, for like lesser of two evils for me, it's more of like both of these candidates don't feel like viable options.
Watching the debate yesterday, you have one that lies and you had one that could barely even bring a whole coherent sentence together. And I think that we're in a really bad place when it comes to our presidential options.
I thought Biden is the better choice, but he seemed very, very old. He seemed a lot older than he is, and I think that's going to be kind of tough for people to get over. He was kind of shaky, and he was having a hard time finishing his sentences and losing his train of thought. And someone that's in charge like that, you want them to be 100% sharp.
If I was ever thinking of voting for Biden, I'm sure I would have changed it based upon last night's performance, just because our country needs somebody who's with it.
It was really hard to watch. Like, I wanted to turn it off almost immediately, but I somehow powered through. My wife was not as strong. She left the room because she couldn't take it. My reaction was just a lot of sadness.
Tonight was an indication of how far removed our elected officials and our candidates are from the general public. If anything, that is what the debate yesterday underscored.
I really didn't feel there was a need to watch the debate. At this point, you're not going to really sway anyone's mind. It's the race to the bottom all over again. Last night was the mummy versus the dummy. So, for those who tuned in, it kind of was a waste of time as far as I'm concerned.
The debate outcome could influence swing voters, but it remains uncertain how it will impact the overall elections. Biden's inability to connect facts and ideas, along with his physical demeanor, reinforce concerns about his age and ability to lead effectively.
With dealing with everything we have to do with,
This has led to serious questions about his suitability for the presidency. Despite some moments of strength, Biden's overall performance failed to instill confidence in his leadership. This has prompted speculations about the Democratic Party's next steps and whether they need a more convincing candidate.
What we saw tonight is the president making a very clear contrast with Donald Trump on all of the issues that matter to the American people.
He looked weak and confused. I like him. No way you could believe this man could be commander-in-chief for more years.
This president has family members who don't love him, because any loving family member would not put a man like this through the hell that they're actually putting him through.
Look at this man.
The debate highlighted the stark contrast between Biden's struggle and Trump's combative approach. This actually underscores the challenges both candidates face in appealing to the voters and solidifying their bases. The impact on swing voters and the election's outcome remains uncertain.
The only reason I'm here is he's so bad as a president that I'm going to make America great again.
We're the envy of the world. Name me a single major country president who wouldn't trade places with the United States of America.
He will drive us into World War III, and we're closer to World War III than anybody can imagine. President Xi of China, Kim Jong-un of North Korea, all of these, Putin, they don't respect him, and he's going to drive us into World War III.
You want to have a war, just let Putin go ahead and take Kyiv, make sure they move on, see what happens in Poland, Hungary, and other places along that border. Then you have a war.
The intense scrutiny of Biden's performance underscores the high stakes of this election. Voters are now evaluating not just policy position, but also the candidate's competence, demeanor, and readiness to lead the country. So what do you think? Did Biden's performance change your view on his candidacy? And how about Donald Trump's tactic? How is it going to play out in the long run? What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comment sections. And then don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not yet joined the Pretty Boys and then the Pretty Girls. What are you waiting for? And turn on post notifications for, subsequent videos when I post on topics like this. It's your boy Pretty Boy J. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, adios.